Gary, I've just been setting up this with my team, with a Gary QA hashtag. It's a Twitter wall that's gonna self-update.
Right.
If you don't want to,
I don't. I want to ask these people. Raise your hand next. There we go.
Okay, keep going. I'll take questions.
They start here till 6 p.m.
Hey there, Gary.
Hello.
So I see that you're a big advocate for face-to-face.
Yeah.
I teach at USC, at the University of Southern California, where a lot of students are doing work online.
Awesome.
What do you think about work online? What's the role of face-to-face for students? You're saying they want more work-life balance. How do you see the work-life, the online face-to-face tandem?
Yeah, so I love face-to-face, right? See the week, now they're going to be distracted by the wall. I like face-to-face quite a bit on the human element. Let me ask you guys a question, if I can distract you from the wall for a second. That's a good one. I really want to ask a question. If you guys can pay attention for 1 second, answer this yes or no. How many of you engage with people via Facebook or Twitter? Please raise your hand. Don't be lazy. Raise your hand. All right? How many of you feel when you engage that it feels somewhat similar to sitting at a table and engaging as well? Emotionally, raise your hand. I am of that crowd. I feel that when I talk on, I mean, there's a lot of faces I'm seeing here now of a lot of people that I engage with, but I don't do it personally, but when I see them in an environment like this humanly, I've already got so much back to that context and feeling, real feeling. When I send a tweet, when somebody says, you know, haha, Gary, the Jets lost to the Patriots, and I tweet, fuck you, I mean it. You know, and I can feel it. It'd be the same way if I said it to their face. So I feel like, you know, there's way too many people that don't do this stuff that claim that it's not real. Oh, the kids are getting ruined. The world's getting ruined because we're doing it all through a computer. I think my emotional interaction with people has scaled dramatically. I have many more relationships. I have dramatically more context. And in my opinion, I think that that is extremely important, and all this reminds me of is we can all go to the libraries right now or probably Google it. There was a shitload of people that said the telephone was going to ruin our society, that talking on the phone wasn't face-to-face, that you know, and I just don't see it. It's going to continue to move. I feel tremendous, you know, connection to the people I engage with online, and I wouldn't mind if it was all of it. That being said, I'm a super huggy, feely, touchy guy, and I love meeting people in person, but I love the fact that, like, as I'm boarding a plane, I can have an emotional connection and relationship with somebody that I could have never had any other way. Thanks. Loic, can you take the wall down?
Okay, I'm gonna go to my donation.
Because I want to see their faces, and they're looking at the screen, not my face.
Okay.
And I can't help it, I want to look.
So I'm one donation away from Ashton Kutcher.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Hey,
I'm in.
One more.
How much?
$10. Leave it up.
How much are we at right now?
Wait. We passed him.
How much are we at?
We just passed Ashton Kutcher.
How much money are we at?
Oh, that's easy. Let me just check that. We have raised. It was not about the highest number, but it's about the. Let me see here. $3,090. $3,000.
Okay. $3,090.
But this is from 400 members,
right.
And it's.
So Loic.
Yeah.
I will double the number right now.
Okay, go ahead. So just let you know, so this is on.
Skull's gonna pay for it.
Yeah. So this is on causes.com/LeWeb, and this is going to the Vaynerchuk Hospital for Children in San Francisco.
I'm in. All right, let's move on.
Hi Gary, I'm Karin Schwander from Austria, and my question to you is, because you mentioned work-life balance, so should companies tweet on the weekend? Should they Facebook on the weekends?
Come on.
All of them. What about work-life balance?
Work-life balance is up to every individual, but a business should be listening 24/7. If a customer has a problem, or more importantly, and I think we spend way too much time worrying about the problems, how about the customers that are giving you love? You know, how about when a customer says, I had an amazing time at your restaurant in Austria on Saturday night, it was amazing. I think that thanking people for thanking you is immensely important. And so I think that there's a lot of employees who a lot of human beings out there who are not fortunate enough to have work-life balance, who are in circumstances where they need to put food on the table and aren't worried about buying fucking gadgets, they're worried about putting clothes on their children, who would be thrilled to work on a weekend, something that lightweight, maybe even in their own home because they can handle it. And so I think there's a lot of people out there that are willing to do that job to make extra money, or maybe because they truly just love to do it. I would say 24/7 is important. I do. I think the speed of response changes the dynamic of the context. You know, if I said like, had a great TV show, Glee, it was an awesome episode today, and like 2 weeks later they're like, thanks, it'd feel weird. I don't know. It loses some of its momentum. Hello?
Hi Gary.
What's your name?
Ryan. My name is Ryan.
Ryan?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome.
Good.
Sweet.
I just wanted to. I gotta cut. My question has a couple of parts. First question is, what position did you play in high school football? Because you had high school.
I played cornerback until everybody realized I was dramatically too small and too slow to be successful. Somewhere around 14, I realized I was much more likely to buy a football team than to play for one.
Yes, okay. That was good. I just had an imagination that you might be like a linebacker or something.
Just too small, man.
Got it.
DNA.
All right.
You got to execute against it.
All right, good. Now, so my real question is, so you've been working with brands now, and with your media company. Are you kind of sorry that you've done that? Are you?
No.
What's the state of this?
So client work sucks, right? I mean, client work is like having somebody take a knife and stick it in your face, right? It's not interesting. It's a good overheard. I gotta remember that one. But I think way too many people do things without knowing why. I think too many people. Oh, virtual currency is cool. Let me start a virtual currency business. Or, oh, mobile's big. I need to make an app. Or, wow. They follow trends. Oh, deal of the day. If Groupon passes on $6 billion, I'll make a niche one and I'll make $1 million. I think you have to have purpose for why you're doing what you're doing. So for me, I knew why I wanted to start consulting. I felt that I had a tremendous sensibility for tech, startup, entrepreneurship, and I didn't really understand corporate. See, I'm not very good at reading and learning. I'm only good at doing it. I need to taste it. It's like wine. You can read about wine, but until you taste 60 different wines a day, you don't really know it, right? So I needed to taste it. I knew what was wrong with corporate. I wanted to understand how they justified it. I wanted to understand the politics. I wanted to understand where they spent their money, because I wanted to learn it, because corporate America has a lot of money, right? Corporate will always spend. They have to. So for me, I wanted to understand it, and I wanted to reverse engineer a product, something more scalable, eventually to them. And that's what I'm doing. I've spent 2 years. I think the brands that work with us are very lucky, because I'm really giving them my heart and soul, and I think it's more valuable than what they're paying me. But I feel good about it because I'm getting what I want, which is I understand 2 years later, corporate, so much more than I ever could have in any other way, and I know what to do with it. And knowledge is power. And for me, the only way I can really grasp knowledge is living it. It wasn't fun. I had a lot of very smart friends email me and say, what are you doing? This is stupid. Like, that seems like such a massive step backwards. But I very much understood why I was going to do it, and I'm very happy I did. Not to mention I figured out how to scale it, and and VaynerMedia is a multi-million-dollar business already, and much more profitable than Wine Library could ever be. So, it's kind of interesting.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, good.
Tell everybody your name.
I'm Max.
Hey, Max.
Yeah.
And he has an interesting site. It's like so-stylish, kind of like Daily Booth, but for style. It's interesting. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Cool. What's up?
So, I have one question. What's your only one advice for a young entrepreneur?
What's my one advice for a young
only
entrepreneur?
one.
My one advice. I mean, my biggest advice for an entrepreneur is if you're truly an entrepreneur, if you're not a wannabe entrepreneur, did you sell something before you were 12 years old? So like that already worries me, right? Like that's like a big question for me with entrepreneurs, but that's sales. So not every entrepreneur is just sales. So I don't necessarily, you're not totally eliminated, but you took a big debt, Max. But that being said, if you're a true entrepreneur, back to that gentleman's point about, I kind of felt his fire, like, it's very, I could never work for somebody else. If you're a true entrepreneur, I firmly believe that everybody in this room and everybody watching on Ustream and 99% of our society spends way too much time trying to be better at the things they're not, right? Oh, I'm not a good, I know entrepreneurs that are trying to learn how to code in Python. Why? You know what I mean? Or like, oh, I need to be better at design, or I need to figure out how to be a better public speaker like you, Gary. Why? And my biggest advice to an entrepreneur would be to not apologize, to just be an entrepreneur. If you're a real entrepreneur, then you're more than happy to live in your mom's basement when you're 29 years old. If you're a real entrepreneur, you're more than happy to wear the same sneakers for the rest of your life because you're so obsessed with building your shit. You know, it's so funny, I've gotten a lot of exposure, a lot of TV, and my friends now, you know, Facebook, all your high school friends come out, and everybody's writing on my wall, Gary, you're so lucky you were on Conan O'Brien. Oh, Gary, you're on the Today Show. Oh, Gary, I read how big Wine Library became. You're so lucky. Do you know what I do? I go right back to their wall and say, Tom, I'm not lucky. Tom, let me paint you a picture. You remember senior year of high school and those 4 years in college when you guys used to invite me to go to the Jersey Shore and I said no? It's because I was working every fucking hour. I'm not lucky. You're fucking lucky. You went to the Jersey Shore, you banged some chicks, you drank some beer, life was good. You're lucky. You know, so I'm telling you that if you're a real entrepreneur, if you're sitting right now and you're a real entrepreneur, never apologize. Not to your parents, not to society. Execute on who you are. I probably do 99% of the world's deeds poorly. There's about 4 to 6 things I do well, and all I ever do is really focus on that. LeBron didn't try to figure out how to do something different. Tiger Woods wasn't like, well, I suck at this. They fucking focused on what they were good at. If you know what you're naturally good at, execute harder against that. That is no question in my mind your biggest advantage in being successful because it's naturally already in you. Execute against that shit. For sure. Who else? Hey. Hey, how are you?
Is it working? Okay.
You're the guy sitting right there.
Yeah.
How are you?
Fine, you? I'm Alessio, I'm a journalist and blogger from Italy. I have 3 short questions.
Sure.
First question, should every company on the world, and when I say every, I mean every company in the world, engage with social network? And what is the best case of a social network engaging you so, and what is the worst?
Yeah, so, I mean, listen, nothing is always all in or all out, right? All the good shit happens in the middle. Gray is the best color in this world, you know, not black or white. Do I think so? I think it's the biggest opportunity brands have ever had. For the first time ever, brands don't have to rely on gatekeepers to tell their story. No longer are the Financial Times or the BBC or CNN or Wall Street Journal completely in control of the story that the world is consuming. I think it's an enormous opportunity. I said on GaryVaynerchuk.com the other day, social media is not a necessity, but it's one of the greatest opportunities of all times. So I think yes, but if somebody doesn't want to, or maybe their brand is to be secretive or some restriction, I understand. I just can't wrap my head around why you wouldn't want to engage with the people that actually buy your shit. You know, mainly because you probably don't believe in the shit you're selling, you know, is usually the answer. The best execution of social, I think, is yet to come. I don't think any business has been really built on a foundation of really giving and then learning how to monetize. I think the golden study in the US is Zappos in a lot of ways, but it was much bigger than social media. Their culture was built on customer service, and I believe that's what social really is at the end of the day, a real opportunity to create, you know, context and relationship. So I think Zappos has done a nice job with it. But I don't think, I'd like to hope that in 5 years, Zappos execution will look like shit. That brands have gone way past that. The worst case is very easy. You know, there's so many bad ones. Anybody, any brand or business that you go on their Twitter account right now or their Facebook status update, and 3 of the last 4 messages they've sent out have been selling an appearance or giving you a coupon or telling you about an offer they had, that's shit. So I would say that, all of them.
Gary, can I interrupt for a second?
Fine.
So we have about 2,000 on Ustream, and this is a really big room, by the way, so we probably have half of we probably have like 800 here right now. And The next target is Dave Morin of PAF. He's at 220 donations, and we're at 116. You think you can do 100 donations at $10 each from 3,000 people?
Oh, Dave Morin's our next donation?
Yeah, we passed. Ashton Kutcher is just a souvenir now. Thank you.
You know, Loic, I would tell you something, and I mean this. I'm about to say something, and this is where I can get into trouble, I guess. What I just did in matching your donation dollars, I'm kind of upset that I did. I got caught up in the moment. I'm very weird about the whole donation
thing. Oh, no, wait,
so
I thought you were doing that by asking your followers to do it.
Oh, no, I'm personally going to match.
Oh, no, you shouldn't do that.
No, I'm willing to, because I like you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. No, wow, now I'm really glad I brought this up. I'm very weirded out by what's going on in social donations, and I'll tell you why. How many of you, raise your hand, saw what happened when 6 or 7 very big celebrities the other day, Ryan Seacrest, Lady Gaga, Kim Kardashian, died on Twitter until they raised $1 million, and then they would start tweeting again? Raise your hand. How many of you saw that? All right, so when I saw that, I was very confused, because I said to myself, okay, here are multi-millionaires, right, who are taking away them pitching shit to their audience and asking their audience to give a collective $1 million. I think it is completely broken how 99% of the shit is going down with donations. I think asking for people to donate without, and listen, by the way, I have no context on what you do, what I do, what, maybe Kim and Seacrest and those guys. I'd really like to know how much they gave personally. I think it's very difficult to ask the community, and they're being asked so often. And listen, I want to raise, but it's funny, I had somebody hit me up on Twitter.
Don't worry. Take the next question. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm going to
get by the way, we're about 5, we're over.
This is important enough to finish.
No, 5-10 minutes.
That's fine.
Then we pick the winners. So if you want to win a ticket, you can still do it. $10.
I just want to finish on this, and it's not a bad thing. I really think we need to look at
how... We'll have a car then, and we close the web.
Phenomenal. I think we have a really interesting issue brewing with the way we're raising here, and I think it should be looked at, and I think there's a better way to go about doing it than pressuring your fan base into supporting it. And I don't think that that's what you're doing. I really don't. But I didn't like the fact that I feel that I just used a donation to make myself look good. And, I've really enjoyed where I've been for the last 3 years, which is somebody called me out a couple years ago and said, you never do any of this stuff. And I told him to meet me at Starbucks in New York City and showed him my tax return. I think too many people are leveraging crisis like Haiti and Chile and donations to make themselves look good. And I think it needs to be looked at. That's all. Thank you. That being said, fuck Dave Morin, let's donate. Okay.
Yeah, just talk.
Yeah, I'm Pierre Simon. My question is, you are engaging to answer every solicitation you have, but sometimes, I don't know, you might be sick or maybe you want to sleep. How do you manage to stop?
When you want to sleep.
So, yes, I do want to answer all my tweets and Facebook messages and emails, but I don't. Not anymore. It's just gotten too big. The math has defeated me. But I think what we don't recognize enough in this space is effort, right? Effort is, when you have relationships with people. I had a flight issue with LeWeb. I tweeted out, Loic, he answered me immediately. Now we really know each other and we have a relationship, but that effort meant a lot to me because he didn't need to deal with my bullshit flight issue 3 days before this magnificent, or a week before this huge conference, but his effort meant a whole lot to me, maybe more than any time he pitched me or anything else, you know what I mean? I think effort is grossly underestimated right now in general. It's not talked about enough. The reason it feels like I answer all of them is because I'm trying, but I don't. And when somebody comes out and says, "Ooh, Gary, you've changed. You think you're a big shot now. 2 years ago, you answered me every time. You haven't answered my last 2 tweets," whatever. Before, usually I can even get in there and say, "I'm so sorry, it must have just fell through the cracks, maybe it was bad timing, maybe the Jets lost by 42 points on Monday Night Football and I didn't want to talk to anybody in the world." Usually 30 to 50 people jump in there, come to my defense because they're like, "No, he answered me an hour ago or 2 days ago." And I think that's what it comes down to, Pierre. So I think it's simply effort, and I think you need to try. I think a brand and a business has no excuse because they can scale forever because it's logo. I think personal brands have excuses because they're human beings and they're one person. But I think effort is something that we need to look at more, the value of effort, because I'm doing it 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12 hours a day and trying. When I miss a few or have a bad string where I'm missing a few from the same person, the community itself becomes bigger than the individual supporting that effort. Thanks, man.
Hi Gary, how are you?
I'm well. What's your name?
My name is Ayelet.
Ayelet.
Ayelet with a T.
Ayelet.
Yes.
With a T. Awesome.
Israeli.
How are you?
Good.
You don't know Ayelet?
Of course I do.
Oh, okay.
Blonde 2-0.
Yep. How are you?
I'm very well. I have a new media PR agency, and every time I meet with a potential new client, they always ask me, how do you measure the ROI of social media? So I would like to hear your response to that.
Yeah, so that was the beginning thesis of how I wanted to write the new book, The Thank You Economy, because I know the problem. Everybody asks that. Here's the problem. The ROI in social media is patience, right? You know, you have to have that DNA to be able to understand the ROI of social media. The problem with businesses as a creature is they don't have it, right? So you've got a fundamental flaw. The way I've answered that question lately has been this. Somebody will look at me pretty aggressively and say, what's the ROI of social media? I respond by saying, what's the ROI of your mother? Right? So I think anytime you're ever asked what the ROI of social media is, I'd like to debate the ROI of your mom. You know, I'm trying to dissect the ROI of my relationship with my mom. My mom is so obnoxiously responsible for everything I have, it's inconceivable, right? First, she gave birth to me. That was a very substantial first start, right? Second, she's the biggest influence in my life. I not only share DNA with her, I spent every moment of my life from the day I was born till 18 with her because my dad worked his face off even when we came to America and had no money so that my mom could be home with us. She's the greatest mother of all time, period, end of story, no debate. You can tie me with your mom, but you can't beat me. She's that unbelievable, right? So her clout score is 1 billion, right? You know, but what's the ROI of that? Really, everything, right? And I think it's a silly question because the word media fucked it up. It did, because they understand how to measure the ROI. Now that being said, I think it's coming. Here's what these companies are waiting for. They're waiting for some establishment that they've trusted in the past, whether it's Nielsen's or McKinley, to give them some fucking bullshit data that they believe in. Once it becomes permanent, that a Facebook friend is worth $3.09 or a Twitter friend is worth 67 cents, they'll justify in their own minds what it is and they'll execute against it. The whole thing is straight horseshit. Anybody who knows how to run a business that doesn't understand the ROI of what having a relationship with the consumer is, that's what social media should be rebranded to. How about relationship with the consumer? That's what it is. If you do not understand what the value, the monetary, financial value of having a relationship with a customer is, then you have no fucking idea what business is about. And so the ROI, you can give them numbers. We'll come up with numbers. Don't worry, Blondie 2.0. We're going to get there, and you know that. I know that. Nielsen's is working on it every day. We're going to have some fucking bullshit number. The ROI is greater than that number, I promise you, because all of us know how much money we've spent with people that we either know, that we were recommended to. You know, this is how we buy things. Word of mouth is the currency of how people spend their money. And that's what this entire ecosystem is built on. I think the whole thing is laughable at best. Anybody who asks it and means it because they want to stick a hole in it, I think is a losing player who's, you know, probably a classically trained, solid student that has no feel for markets. And I think the whole thing is kind of interesting. I answer with straight anger. I think you should too.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you. Ready, Gary?
Am I done?
You want the last one, or
I would love the last one.
Okay.
He's got a helmet on.
Very last one. Then we have Matthew Tenbaum of Renault, who invented the Twizy. It's a little car, which is also which will be won in a few minutes. Nice helmet.
Thank you very much. Hi Gary, I'm JB from Studio Milipan. I just wanted to know what are the key points to you for French guys trying to expand to the US actually?
To the US? For a French company? Trying to hit who? The US consumer?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, what kind of product?
We do a product dedicated to designers, digital agencies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to do it is the way to do it whether you're in France or in the US, which is to go directly at the people who are the buyers, right?
CrushIT.
So, yeah, I mean, it's effort, right? I mean, how do you do it? You send emails or try to find relationships that you know the people you're trying to get to, and you stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning and you email them all. I mean, you know, it's hard work, but the answer is, once you understand who you're getting to, who your end consumer is, no matter if you have a startup iPhone app, or you're an agency or CEOs, whoever your client is, you should be obsessed. Obsessed. 24/7, 365 with trying to get to them and telling them your story. All the other bullshit is horseshit. You just need to get to the person that you're trying to tell your story to, and whatever way you can get that, whether that's hitting them up on their Facebook page, hitting them up on Twitter, it's never been more easy to get to people than it is today. So there should be no excuse not being able to communicate. Now your product has to be good, and I think that's the thing that most people should pay attention to. I'm gonna leave with this. You know, content is king. I'm blown away by how many people are obsessed with marketing or social media when their product is shit. If you make a wine and it tastes like garbage,